at 4:45. Peacock is going to exclusively stream an NFL wildcard playoff game, not this year, but in 2024. And, you hear about streaming or how much is too much or whatever. This is going to probably end up, I don't know how many people, millions, I don't know, that might buy into whatever you have to do to get the Peacock if you don't already have it. But this is interesting. This is new. And when I saw it come out yesterday, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. When did we? And then I realized, no, this is new. Like, this is something the NFL and Peacock, a one-year deal, streaming service to carry the first exclusive live-streamed NFL playoff game during the 2024 playoffs.
Yeah, NBC, trying to increase the value, NBC, Universal, Comcast, whatever gigantic corporate monster you want to call them, but they're trying to, obviously get their numbers up on Peacock, which is kind of taking a bit of a bath right now because of their infrastructure investments on the back end. But to make it work, why not put an NFL playoff game there? I'm curious to see who it is, though. What teams wind up there and how they get the draw of that.
It's going to be a 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock Eastern game. It says it will follow, a late afternoon game on NBC and Peacock at 7 o'clock.
So, yeah, but he's asking about who's going to play.
Who's going to play? Like
AFC,
like
NFC?
How do they get
that? Well, it's a wild card. Yeah, there's how many games in the wild card round? 6, 4? How many are there?
4, right?
Yeah. So, but do you put... So say it's the Cowboys and 49ers in the first round of the playoffs. Do you put that game on streaming?
Yeah.
That's what they're going to want, but do you put that one on the afternoon? Do you put the other one? And it's going to depend on who's there. Do you, if you get one of the teams, it's the Giants, the Cowboys, it will be the Steelers
lowest,
or something like that.
It will be, and it's here, the lowest potential viewership, but watch out for the law of unintended consequences. It might turn out to be the most competitive game of the weekend.
Yeah, 6 wild card games.
6 games, okay.
And I guess with the expanded playoff, but yeah. So yeah, I guess it could be from either one. I'm not sure how that works, and that's not really all that important right now. Although I know people would just love to know the information just for the sake of it. But yeah, I mean, if you've got that kind of I guess idea that has been out there that you're trying to build off on, and you're finding ways to do it. I mean, what better than the NFL to try and increase subscriptions? I don't know of a better property if you're Peacock or Netflix or Apple or whoever than to try and get the NFL. Now, it comes with a hefty price tag, but you know that you're going to get viewers. You know that you're absolutely going to get viewers as a result of that. But, yeah, the question is how many? How much of a difference does that make having that one game? For me, I'm one of those that I just already fall into it. I already have Peacock because of WWE stuff, so I'll, not see any difference really on my cable bill or on my, monthly bill for that since I already have it. But, if it was a situation like, with the Pac-12 and they're going to Apple, like, am I going to go get Apple to watch Pac-12 games? I'm probably not, but I know a bunch of people will. The NFL, though, is its own thing. So I could see this being, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter what, this being wildly successful. I could also see a lot of people just saying, like, I'm not going to pay for one playoff game and sign up for this thing. Mm-hmm. So I bet it'll be, really good for Peacock. I guess the big test will be not really how many they get on there, but how many, stay on there after the fact, because that's what you really want, right? But it will be a big deal, and I'm sure they'll flaunt whatever that number is for that night, for that game, and tout, 4 million people tuned into Peacock streaming for that. And, it's undeniable that streaming is going to be a big part of what, we watch sports-wise and just everything-wise moving forward. And it's already taken a nice piece of real estate and will only continue to take more. But, as far as everything moving that direction, I think this is one of those test lines to kind of see how it goes and see, what more they can squeeze out of it. But it's a smart idea. It's one that makes a lot of sense, and I'm very curious to see, what kind of response it gets.
I am too. So if they're going to give the NFL $110 million for this one playoff game, I would love to know what the estimated revenue they will get from sponsors who know that they may not be seen by what is normally any NFL game. Heck, it could be a Week 15 game between two teams that are 8-8 or 7-8, whatever it might be. But it'll be interesting, and that eventually will come out on who is buying what, how much they can recoup And then how much do they make on how many people, as you mentioned, not only get that game, but also stay with it for more than just one weekend?
Yeah, you might have, a million people sign up just to watch that game, depending on who it is. And, hey, there's a quick, I don't know what they charge. I think it's pretty cheap, actually, Peacock right now.
$9 or something?
I think it's cheaper
less
than that. Yeah.
They have they're pretty good little.
It's actually one of the better
tiers,
streaming services. Yeah.
They've got like a $4.99 tier, an $8.99 tier, and like a $12.99 tier, depending on, no ads on down to bombarded, I guess.
And they got a lot of options, but for like the $5.99 that I pay, because I don't mind like a couple ads here and there. It really doesn't disrupt me that much. I don't have to have no interruptions, so I'm like, oh yeah, I'll pay cheaper prices each month and not really see a difference. But I do think it's one that I've enjoyed more than I probably thought I would, and I've picked up some, dropped them, grabbed them back again. But Peacock with WWE's been a good little a hook for me. And, I'll check it out and see how they do. But I think this is probably going to be, in very quick fashion, the way we operate from here on out, where, how much would y'all like to bet that it's very successful, and then they announce shortly after that there will be an exclusive wild card Peacock game every year in the NFL playoffs? I feel like that's probably a given, and they will have a lot of success and use that as a launching pad to go ahead and make the exclusive streaming wild card playoff game. And the only question will be, does somebody else follow suit? And then, where do we get to where, how much are we having to pay to simply watch playoff games, right? Because there is a line that people will draw. But I think for this one, it's a unique idea that just makes a lot of sense and will be cool to see.
Peacock lost $704 million last year, according to the parent company Comcast. This is Richard Deitch and Daniel Kaplan with the story. The service is not alone. Outside of Netflix, streamers lose loads of money, whether it's CBS's Paramount or Paramount Plus or Walt Disney's ESPN Plus, which also has an exclusive regular season game this season. It's amazing. So they lose money, but I guess in some way they're making money. How do you lose $704 million and keep going?
Well, most of that is investing on things on the back end so that you get the WWE rights, you get all these other things, you buy these rights to things, hoping that'll bring people to your.
They have 22 million subscribers.
Major League Baseball, any of that, the Big Ten, all that stuff that's coming on to Peacock. That's money that they've spent out, but they haven't made back yet because they need the subscribers.
And by the way, I don't love the idea. I'm just looking at it from a pure Peacock standpoint. It makes sense that they would do that because it's a cash grab, because they know the NFL will sell, even if the subscription is for 2 days. That they'll still get that month's worth of money from whoever signs up to watch whatever that playoff game ends up being. But no, I am not going to be one of those that, in the future, if the NFL is trying to pawn off 5 different games on 5 different streamers, I just won't watch. I simply won't. It's not that important to me to spend money now to have to watch every playoff game. So this is a little test tube to see how much of that they can pull off. I might be in the minority, but that's okay. I don't mind standing there. I'm not going to pay for a bunch of NFL playoff games that we used to get for free. I'm just not going to do it.
Peacock exclusively carried an NFL regular season game this season, Buffalo and Chargers of LA, in a pretty good one on December 23rd. Exclusive wild card regular season games will be broadcast on the NBC stations in the 2 cities of the competing teams. So if it was Dallas against LA, those cities would still get the game on NBC. And, of course, there's so much more to get to. But this is also part of the future. And so, and if you're the conference Pac-12 or whoever it is, even the Big 12 and whoever else, the streaming is not a dirty word. It's not the best word you want. You would rather have linear, but there are going to be combinations, percentages of streaming, and this is another example with at least this specific game. The NFL is unbeaten when it comes to eyeballs. Unbeaten, but it'll be fun to see how that turns out.
There is part of me, though, that, we hear all the time and we're batted over the head with the fact that streaming's the future and streaming's this and streaming's that. And it's very convenient that it's coming from the people who stand to make money off of that. Yeah. And that all of these streaming giants are telling us, no, streaming's the future. Streaming's where it's all going to be. And it's no, let me wake up for a second and realize, oh, they're kind of tricking me, aren't they? They're convincing me and brainwashing me into, no, I'm just doing, it's just, I got to have all these subscriptions to watch what I want to watch. And it's it used to be a simpler way, but here we are, and they're all trying to make as much money as possible, like with any corporation, and they're stretching this out to where, to watch the NFL at some point, you're probably going to have like multiple different streamers just to watch games, but they'll probably be enough of an audience for it, but I can definitely see where people are already stretched thin and just aren't going to love the idea of having to keep signing up for things that they watch maybe a quarter of the year or what have you, and really sticking with it. So, I guess with all of the failed millions and millions and billions of dollars that some of these giants have pumped into movie series and TV series that did not give them any return on investment, sports is something where they probably feel a lot more confident they'll get the bang for their buck. But I do think like how much of the staying power they get will be very interesting, and we won't know that for quite a while. But we are being told that streaming is the future, and that's fine, and I understand that, but we're also being told that by the streamers themselves. And so they kind of have a little bit of a foot in this game, for why they want to pound that over our heads.
David Johnson in the chat room, I agree 100%, Craig, not going to pay to watch playoff games, not that important enough. Even perhaps, I don't know, David, who your favorite team might be if they're playing. There's always the greatness of listening to a broadcast on the radio. Or do they do the red zone during the postseason?
That's not postseason, no.
Okay. Yeah. Also, the Masters, I believe, and I don't know if it was just this year or what, but I watched them. I watched them on my laptop during the day. I had them, and even a little bit on my phone. They were streaming a lot of the coverage from Augusta National in the first couple of rounds. So I did watch that, and of course for me initially a little bit of a challenge. And it's not like now, oh my God, I got to pick up a copperhead snake. I understand a little bit more how it works. And what was my favorite show? Yellowstone and the Tulsa King. So it's getting to be a little bit easier, manageable for me. 64, for some 64-year-olds, it's like what they do every day. But it is interesting how some of this is going changing. And we used to be just the ABC's fundamentals of the networks that carried the games. That's no longer the case. All right, let's see.